Kunal, it's turning out to be pretty choppier trade, but again, not huge moves from the highs to the low. Where are we headed next?
I think the markets are also waiting for Friday. Maybe I think,
Waiting? It's here.
no, markets were also waiting for
Yeah.
Friday to
Yeah.
be over and done with. But I think it's a good day. When you look at it in terms of the market breadth, because after 2 or 3 days of very strong price gains, almost like a 600 or a 700 point move for the Nifty, and then almost a 5% to 10% pickup for many stocks in the mid caps and small caps. It's a good pause for the indices. Generally what happened was after 2-3 days of rally or bounce back, on a day when the indices were flattish, the market breadth deteriorated significantly. But that's not happened this time around, and that I believe could be a positive sign. Even though we were down, I think 200 or 50 odd points on the bank nifty, but the India VIX was not seeing any major jump. So when we look at the data points surrounding the market so far, the global data points, the drop in dollar index, crude prices, etc., and then the calm which we are seeing onto our markets, especially our indices, indicates that the markets is just about digesting the gains which we've seen in the last 3 days. Maybe a couple of days more of consolidation, but I believe 22,800 to 23,000 should be on the cards.
All right, 22,800 and 23,000 should be on the cards. Not a bad day for the markets, but a Nifty Bank as well is seen to be taking a backseat today. For today, very tight range of consolidation. But Naresh, what is your take on Nifty Bank? Because we see some of these stocks like IndusInd Bank, they're not doing pretty well. It's a 3% decline. But Kunal, why don't you only give us your take on Nifty Bank as well? Because IndusInd Bank, of course, is one of the laggards. But what do you make out of it?
There are zones where underperformance should be bought into, and I think for Bank Nifty, this is a very strong zone of underperformance in the last 2-3 days. And I'm talking of underperformance on a relative basis with respect to the Nifty. For example, Nifty has jumped up some 3% or 3.2% from its 3-day lows. Bank Nifty in that aspect has jumped up just about 1 to 1.5% only. So there is this underperformance which is there for the banking index. But I strongly believe that this underperformance should be bought into, because my belief is that we are now looking at a point where the high betas or the previous sectors which had done reasonably well, they would start to pick up pace sooner or later. You're seeing breakouts happening for HDFC Bank. There was an initial breakout for Axis Bank, and then ICICI Bank has also stopped correcting. Only IndusInd Bank is the only stock which I believe from the larger cap private sector banking names which is still showing signs of correction. So when we look at this in the context, I believe that eventually over the next few days, you should see the Bank Nifty going into a zone of outperformance. So it's a good buy at current levels.
As the government is preparing to meet the heavy demand during summer, two of the stocks specifically are in focus. Coal India stock, coal actually as a stock may deplete due to the high power demand. So let's watch out for Coal India. But on the flip side, Prakash is also getting us that there are plans to operate NTPC's 6,000 megawatt gas-based plant. But Naresh, can you help us with the chart check on both of these? That how do you see these counters moving? Because off late for the past 2 to 3 days, we have already seen good run up in these two.
So Coal India looks interesting. The correction is corrected all the way from 550 to 350 levels. In the last 2 days, it has made a reversal signal. Out here, the next target price eventually should be closer to 420, 450 levels going forward. And dips remain a buy with a stop loss below 370. Similarly, NTPC also made a double bottom around that 295 mark, made a recovery high above that interim highs of 330. So any dips back to 330 remains a buying opportunity, and with an upside back to 360 levels.